The world outside is still, blanketed in snow, as the soft glow of morning spills through frosted windows. The faint sound of bells jingles from somewhere in the distance, and the air feels alive with possibility. Inside, the scent of pine and cinnamon fills the room, mingling with the crackle of a fire in the hearth. Stockings hang heavy with secrets, and neatly wrapped presents glisten beneath the twinkling lights of the Christmas tree. It's a morning of magic and anticipation, a day where tradition meets a hint of mischief. And what better way to start it than with a festive dive into the world of girl horror? Hello and welcome to the Girl Horror Podcast, where we explore the intersection of girlhood and horror in film and TV. Often these intersections leave us teary-eyed, but in today's very special Christmas episode for Friday the 13th, we're trading tissues for laughter. Because let's be real, if there's one thing we all need right now, it's a very good giggle. Today we're unwrapping something a little bit different, a girl horror Christmas gift guide. Yep, you heard me. We're going to be delving into the Christmas wish lists of 5 of our favourite girl horror icons. From vintage gowns to mini flamethrowers, this guide showcases the best of horror cinema's leading women and what they'd have for their Christmas presents. We all know their stories. We've debated endlessly over who holds the title of the ultimate girl horror icon. But here's a question. Do we know what they'd put on their Christmas wish lists? No? Well, to be fair, it's not exactly the kind of thing most people spend their free time pondering. But hey, what's life without a little whimsy? Now, let's unwrap some girl horror gifts together. Before we dive in, I just want to say a massive thank you for sticking with me during the podcast's hiatus. Life can get a bit like a slasher movie sometimes, unexpected twists and turns at every corner and, a bit of fearing for our lives. Genuinely though, thank you for your patience and support. It means the world to me. And now we're back, and I cannot wait to bring you girl horror to your screens and to your ears once again. Now, even the icons of girl horror need a little holiday downtime. After all the frights and the fights, 5 of our favourite girl horror icons have packed away their survival instincts for the festive season. Instead, they're kicking back, sipping mulled wine, and preparing for a nice, quiet Christmas. In their honour, we're going to be planning some tailored gifts for our favourite horror heroines. Tonight we're playing Father Christmas for 5 of the most iconic women in horror. Here's our lineup.
You must have a small fortune stashed from babysitting so much.
Guys think I'm too smart.
I don't. I think you're wacko. Now you're seeing men behind bushes.
First, of course, we have Laurie Strode from Halloween.
Please, this is completely backwards.
We just need to acclimate.
I don't want to acclimate. I want to go.
Then we have Danny from Midsommar.
Hello, Sydney. Remember me?
What do you want?
I want you. It's showtime.
Next, there's Sidney Prescott from the Scream films.
I say we take off and nuke the entire site from orbit. They can bill me.
After that, Ellen Ripley from Alien.
I want to start to try and be a whole person before it's too late for me to...
And finally, of course, we have Carrie White from Carrie. Each of these women has faced unimaginable horror and has come out the other side stronger, smarter, and, let's face it, a little bit more traumatised. Tonight we're going to dive into their worlds and ask, what would Laurie, Danny, Sidney, Ripley and Carrie want to find under the Christmas tree this year? And who knows, you might find a bit of inspiration for your own Christmas wish list in this episode. We would all love to be a bit more final girl after all. Or maybe you'll think of a good gift for a fellow horror lover in your life. Just remember, nobody likes getting coal, unless you're Danny and it's for the May Queen celebration fire. So get yourself cozy, grab a hot chocolate, light a candle, settle in. Together we're going to unwrap the perfect gifts for these horror girls. Let's make this a holiday they're never going to forget. Or at least, let's try and patch up some of the damage already done. Let's get into it.
Halloween night. A small American town. 15 years ago.
Let's kick things off with the one and only Laurie Strode. If there's a Mount Rushmore of final girls, Laurie's face is front and centre. Probably flanked by a knife and a pumpkin, because let's face it, she really is the queen of Halloween horror. For those who don't know, Laurie's story began in the sleepy town of Haddonfield, where quiet life as a babysitter was shattered one Halloween night by the relentless Michael Myers. Over the years, and now decades, Laurie has become the epitome of resilience, outsmarting and outlasting her nemesis time and time again. She's a fighter, she's a survivor, and let's be real, probably the only person you want on your side during any holiday gathering gone wrong. You best believe Laurie would win that family argument. Now, what is Laurie up to this Christmas? Well, we've heard she's at home, she's sipping tea in her fortress of a house. The windows, reinforced. The doors, bolted. The Christmas tree, beautifully decorated, with motion sensors and a few booby traps hidden in the ornaments. Laurie might not be one for festive spirit, but she's not letting Mr. Myers anywhere near her over the holiday season. Laurie's honestly a lesson in protecting your peace, with impenetrable shutters and deadbolt locks. So that being said, what do you get a woman like Laurie Strode for Christmas? Well, let's take a look at her Christmas wish list. First on Laurie's list, a state-of-the-art security system. We're talking cameras that can see Michael Myers sneaking around the darkest shadows, paired with an app that sends real-time alerts. Because for Laurie, Christmas isn't about twinkling lights. It's about spotting intruders before they ruin your holiday dinner. Next on Laurie's gift list is something we all know and love. And that's a branded, personalised award mug for World's Best Babysitter. Because have you ever known anybody go as above and beyond as Laurie? I definitely haven't. Not only is it practical, because every final girl needs a caffeine boost, but also, can you imagine Michael Myers catching sight of that mug on her kitchen counter? He'd probably turn around and walk away. It's a power move. Nobody messes with Laurie's kids.
What the fuck do you think you're doing?
Mom, I'm really uncomfortable with you saying that
Well,
word.
then don't put me in the position, John.
Third on the list, a winter coat that's as practical as it is stylish. Laurie's not about frills. She needs something warm, comfortable, and ideally stab-resistant. Think Kevlar-lined parkas that give, yes, I will come caroling, but don't try and mess with me. Now we've got Laurie calm in a 360 secure home. She's drinking coffee out of her new mug and protected if she needs to nip out for some more mince pies. But what is she going to fill her time with at home? Well, this Christmas, we're gifting Laurie a box set of the Home Alone films for her enjoyment. After all, Laurie is basically the grown-up horror version of Kevin McAllister.
I'm up here, you morons! Come and get me! You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
Think about it, they're both outsmarting intruders, setting traps, and turning the tables on their would-be attackers. I think Laurie and Kevin teaming up would actually be the dream team. Finally, something to soothe the nerves. That's why we're giving Laurie a never-ending supply of calming herbal tea. Chamomile, lavender, peppermint. Let's face it, Laurie deserves all the relaxation she can get after a lifetime of being chased relentlessly by Michael Myers. Let's help Laurie enjoy a restful, sleepy tea in her brief moments of downtime. Laurie might be tough as nails, but even the toughest final girls need time to unwind, preferably in front of a fireplace where she can see all the exits. And there we have it, Laurie Strode's Christmas wish list. Equal parts badass and relatable, just like the woman herself. Next up, we're going to dive into the unsettling world of Danny from Midsommar and find out what's on our May Queen's wish list this year. Stay tuned. This festive season, don't just deck the halls, deck your attackers. At the Final Girl Academy, we'll be teaching you how to survive your family gathering and that weird shadow of a person in the hedge outside. Enroll now and get your first stab-resistant vest for free. Please note, the Final Girl Academy is not responsible for accidental injury or death of relatives or in-laws during family gatherings. Side effects may include an inability to trust anyone who makes eye contact with you and a slight obsession with checking all the windows. A huge thank you to our ad breaks for today. I'm sure you will enjoy them immensely. Next, we turn to Danny, the May Queen herself. Danny's story in Midsummer is as much about rebirth as it is about grief and transformation. We watch her journey from unbearable loss to finding a twisted sense of belonging within the sunny, unsettling world of the Haga, where everything is bathed in light and beauty, but beneath the surface lies something darker. And Danny, she's right there in the middle of it, smiling through the chaos. Now, I think Danny's Christmas is going to be a little bit unorthodox this year. Instead of a Christmas tree, Danny has dedicated her time to building a flower-covered Yule altar in her living room. And instead of a turkey and stuffing, she'll be enjoying, well, whatever is in that mysterious pie they're serving. We won't look too closely. Danny's holidays are definitely unconventional now, but that doesn't mean she doesn't deserve a thoughtful gift or two. Maybe?
I told you that I want to go to that festival in Sweden.
No, you said it would be cool to go.
Yeah, and then I got the opportunity and I decided to do it.
I don't mind you going. I just wish you would have told me, that's all.
Dude, she needs a therapist. You've been wanting out of this stupid relationship for like a year now.
And don't forget about all of the beautiful Swedish women you'll meet in June.
Okay, guys.
That's not her again. Seriously?
Babe, what's happening? Danny.
First on Danny's list is a nod to her May Queen status. A flower crown, but with a festive twist. Picture it. Vibrant winter blooms intertwined with twinkling fairy lights. It's practical too, doubling as both holiday decor and a crown for the next big event where she'll have to act as queen. After all, why should Midsummer have all the fun? Danny's been fully embraced by the Haga these days, and I imagine she's embracing their culinary traditions too. That's why next on her list is a recipe book featuring Scandinavian holiday dishes. From gravlax to saffron buns, it's a chance for her to channel her new family's traditions into something delicious. After all, maybe Danny wants to give back to the community who has so gracefully provided her with a home to belong to. Now that Danny is glammed up in a fairy light flower crown, and she's baking delicious cakes for her peers, now we have a present just for Danny herself. Every May Queen needs a little downtime. A weighted blanket is the perfect gift for Danny right now. It will help her stay warm out in the Swedish fields, but also grounded in a perhaps more convenient manner than being draped in 1,000 flowers. Just a thought. Now Danny is dressed up, finished baking and calming her breathing, we want to give her a Polaroid camera. A Polaroid camera to capture all those group rituals that she's part of now. We're not sure, but the Haga girlies feel like they'd take a cracking group selfie. Danny loves a sense of belonging, and what better way to document that than with an old-school Polaroid? It's all about the memories. And besides, those Polaroids might come in useful if there's ever a police investigation into the cult. Into the family. Finally, we're giving Danny a copy of The Art of Saying No. It takes a lot of courage to set boundaries, especially when you're in a cult that doesn't take no for an answer. Here's to hoping Danny can start saying no more next year, because honestly, I feel like it would save a lot of people a lot of trouble. Let's hope that this book will really help. And there you have it. We hope you love the gifts, Danny. A mix of newfound tradition and a few creature comforts to remind you that you're still human even if you are the May Queen. Danny, blink twice if you need help. Coming up after the break, we're heading into the world of Scream and looking at Sidney Prescott. She survived every kind of horror imaginable, and somehow she's still standing. So what's on Sidney's wish list, I hear you ask? Stay tuned. This holiday season, ditch the broken record carol songs we've all heard 1,000 times. Instead, why not get yourself a copy of the Carol of the Bloodbath soundtrack, featuring hits like Have Yourself a Bloody Little Christmas, All I Want for Christmas is a Chainsaw, and I Saw Mummy Kissing Michael Myers, available on all streaming platforms now. And we're back. Sidney Prescott is a true legend of horror. The Scream franchise may have brought us Ghostface, but if I'm honest, it's Sidney who's kept me coming back for more all these years. Over the years, we've watched her grow from a vulnerable high schooler into a sharp, no-nonsense survivor who always is one step ahead of her masked tormentor. Sidney's story is about more than survival, though. It's about resilience. She's faced with trauma, betrayal, and an endless string of murderers wearing Ghostface masks. And yet she's still here, standing tall and showing us what it means to fight back. If Laurie Strode is the queen of final girls, Sydney is the reigning champion of horror's metagame.
Nice try, Randy. Tell Tatum to hurry up, okay? Bye now.
If you hang up on me, you'll die just like your mother. Do you want to die, Sydney? Your mother sure didn't.
Fuck you, you creep.
So what do you get the woman who's outsmarted more killers than most of us have had Christmas dinners? Let's take a look at Sydney's Christmas wish list and see what's under her tree this year. First on Sydney's list is a pair of high-performance running shoes. Hear me out. Sydney has spent more time sprinting from danger than not. And if anyone deserves a nice pair of running shoes designed for speed and comfort, it's her. These shoes are built to handle every twist and turn. Whether she's dodging Ghostface in a dark alley or through the streets of suburbia, Sydney is set up to always be one step ahead. Excuse the pun. Next up, we're keeping it simple with an axe. Something sleek and practical. For Sydney, this gift is as symbolic as it is functional. She can keep it on display during her everyday life, but it's ready for when Ghostface inevitably returns. She's used everything from umbrellas to TVs to take down her enemies, but with an axe in her arsenal, Ghostface would not stand a chance. Okay, both the first two gifts are focused on helping Sydney outrun her nemesis. But what about the downtime? Girl deserves a rest too. That's why next on the list we're giving Sydney a personalised do not disturb door hanger. Because after everything she's been through, even Ghostface should understand the importance of beauty sleep. This gift is a declaration of boundaries. How many nights has Sid spent on late night phone calls and surprise attacks? The girl deserves some uninterrupted rest. Now, Sydney is a pro at surviving horror, but even pros need to stay sharp. That's why we're gifting her a curated collection of horror classics to watch now she's got the peace of mind of a quiet bedroom. Think Psycho, Black Christmas, and maybe even Scream itself. After all, knowing the rules is half the battle. But what about once Sid gets through those movies? What if she wants to do something more active with her evening alone? Well, we've got the perfect gift, because up next is a voice-changing karaoke machine. If anyone has earned the right to reclaim the infamous Ghostface voice distortion, it's Sydney. Why should the killers get to have all the fun? This isn't just a gadget, this is poetic justice. I really think Sydney could turn anything into a weapon. Give her a set of kitchen knives and she'll have Ghostface running for the hills. But equally, a set of hardcover books, projectile weapons, obviously. I like to think Sydney's tree is already decorated with little Ghostface ornaments and VHS tape garlands. Perhaps a bloody handprint or two by the fireplace, just for fun. And that's it for Sydney. Coming up next, we're heading into outer space and asking what would the absolute legend that is Ellen Ripley ask for during the festive season. A question many have asked, I'm sure, and we're here to answer that question for you. Spice up your festive celebrations with some murderous mulled wine, infused with a blend of cinnamon, cloves, and just a hint of arsenic. Or try our brand new May Queen mulled cider, infused with seasonal spices, a touch of herbal bitterness, and repressed trauma. Buy one bottle and get a free flower crown now. Disclaimer, company is not responsible for side effects. Consume at your own risk. Free flower crown may cause intense feelings of empowerment, minor hallucinations, and the overwhelming urge to become the leader of a cult. Always drink responsibly. Thank you for that ad. Anyway, let's take a moment to travel out of this world, literally, to visit one of horror's most iconic heroines. Yes, of course, I'm talking about the inimitable Ellen Ripley. From the corridors of the Nostromo to the layers of aliens, Ripley has faced terrors most of us cannot even imagine. And she's done it with a mix of resourcefulness, courage, and grit that's earned her a legendary status in science fiction horror. Ripley is the ultimate survivor, not just because of her combat skills, but because of her ability to adapt. Whether it's outsmarting a xenomorph queen or nurturing her maternal instincts for Newt, Ripley always rises to the occasion. But even the intergalactic badasses deserve a little holiday cheer. So let's beam up her Christmas presents and see how she's celebrating the season, space style. First on Ripley's list, a flamethrower, obviously. Let's be honest, if you're dealing with xenomorphs, you need a bit of firepower. But this isn't just for survival. Picture Ripley using a tiny mini flamethrower, portable, and using it to roast a Christmas turkey. Or maybe, a Christmas xenomorph. Next up, we're gifting Ripley a kitten tree. Jonesy the cat might be the luckiest feline in space, but even he needs some love and enrichment this Christmas. A multi-level kitten tree would be the perfect gift for Ripley's furry companion. Bonus points if it's equipped with a tiny alien toy that he can bat around. How cute! Now, space might seem quiet, but Ripley knows better. Between the constant alarms, airlocks opening and closing, and, the aliens screaming at her, it can get quite noisy out in space. That's why we're giving Ripley a good pair of noise-cancelling headphones this Christmas, so she can get a much-needed break from everything. And maybe get some Bublé on the airwaves for the festive season. When you're light years away from Earth, sometimes you just want a taste of home. That's why our next gift is a stash of freeze-dried Christmas puddings. That way we can bring Ripley a little bit of holiday spirit to the depths of space. And hey, they're compact, they're non-perishable, and they're fully alien-proof. So really the perfect snack for the Nostromo pantry. Finally, we're beaming up a survival guide for intergalactic holidays. What better way to survive the season than with a guide tailored for spacefaring Christmas? Something with tips for zero-gravity decorating, how to make the most of your limited rations, and what to do when your holiday dinner tries to eat you first. Just the basic stuff, essential reading for any space explorer. We've heard that Ripley has already started decorating the ship for a Christmas party in space, setting the control panel lights to twinkle like fairy lights, hanging her stocking up on the cryo chamber doors, and of course little Jonesy purring under the makeshift tree from spare spaceship parts. It sounds so cozy to me. Of course, she will have to keep an eye on the guests, just in case the xenomorph sneaks in with the eggnog. Though I have to say, a xenomorph in a Santa hat, equal parts cute and also horrifying. It turns out that even in the harshest of environments, and against the deadliest of creatures, there's always room for a bit of festive cheer. This Christmas, skip the reindeer and upgrade to a sleigh that's as frightening as it is festive. Santa's sleigh rentals are equipped with chainsaws, spikes, and a built-in blood splatter guard to keep your sequins shiny and your velvet soft. Why settle for a silent night when you can roar through the snow at 100 miles an hour, impress your family, and scare your neighbours? Drivers must be at least 18 years old, have a valid driver's license, and possess a minimum of 2 years of high-speed aggressive manoeuvring experience. Not recommended for use in icy weather or in poorly lit neighbourhoods. Always sleigh responsibly. I think I need to rethink my sponsors maybe for next episode, but thanks anyway, I guess. So, finally, let's talk about Carrie. Carrie's relationship with Christmas is a little bit complicated. On one hand, her innocent side loves the idea of celebration and connection. On the other hand, well, her Christmas spirit might be a little bit, let's say, fiery. We heard last year she didn't hang up mistletoe, but a sprig of charred flowers from her prom bouquet. But this Christmas, we're determined to give Carrie what she deserves. A bit of control and maybe even a little bit of joy over the holiday season. Carrie might not be the first name you think of when it comes to holiday cheer, but beneath the telekinetic power and fiery vengeance is a girl who just wants to fit in. And maybe, just maybe, she'll be able to embrace the Christmas holidays as a chance for a fresh start. We are rooting for you, Carrie. First up, we're giving Carrie a fire extinguisher. It might not be the most joyful gift, but let's be honest, if she wants to enjoy Christmas, she needs to carry a pocket extinguisher with her just in case. After the whole prom debacle, Carrie might appreciate having a bit more control over her impulses. And at least with this gift, she can help deal with the consequences. Baby steps. And besides, it's a great conversation starter for an awkward Christmas party too. The second thing we're gifting Carrie is a beautiful vintage nightgown. Something elegant and timeless. If there's one thing Carrie White is known for, other than the destructive telekinesis, it's her penchant for soft, flowing dresses that mirror her gentle, tragic persona. But this isn't just clothing. It's a symbol of Carrie's quest for normalcy in a world that has often been so cruel to her. A new vintage piece, specifically a red nightgown, would be a way of embracing her own sense of style and reclaiming her individuality.
Take off that dress. No. We'll burn it together and pray for forgiveness. No, Mama.
Honestly, Carrie deserves it. Now that Carrie is dressed to the nines and equipped with a fire extinguisher to keep her and everyone else safe, our next gift is a beautifully designed bullet journal set. I'm talking customizable layouts full of creative potential. It's the perfect gift for someone looking to bring some order into a chaotic life. Carrie's been through a lot, and a bullet journal could help her channel her thoughts, feelings, and even telekinetic to-do lists in a safe, structured way. I'm talking mood trackers shaped like flames, a colour-coded calendar for good days and telekinesis accidents. I just think it would be so helpful for her. Next on Carrie's gift list is a candle-making kit. Yes, you heard me. A candle-making kit. After all, if fire seems to follow her wherever she goes, why not channel that spark into something creative and non-destructive instead? Fire has always been tied to chaos and loss. A candle-making kit gives her a chance to reframe that energy into something peaceful and finally give her control over herself. And hey, if things get out of hand, at least this time the fire will come with a relaxing lavender scent. Finally, we're giving Carrie a copy of the much-loved book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. We think this book might be just the guide she needs to navigate the complicated social waters of high school, or the afterlife, depending on how you've interpreted her ending. And with that, we've reached the end of our girl horror wish lists for the year. Lights, camera, action. Introducing the Carrie White Christmas Lights Show, a set of festive lights with a terrifying twist. These lights flicker with an eerie glow and sometimes whisper things into your ears that you might not want to hear. Depending on your temperament, you might find this light show to be particularly explosive. Available in Pink as Blood and Last Night at Prom colour palettes. Order today for a free Burn Baby Burn disco ball. Disclaimer, whispers may include phrases like "you're all going to pay" or "you've got blood on your hands." Use with caution. Please note, if your lights start flickering uncontrollably or igniting things in a 20-foot radius, immediately stop using them and call your local fire station. Or mother, because honestly, we can't help you. Now, I want to hear from you. Which gift has been your favourite this evening? Or better yet, what would you have on your wish list if you were a final girl this Christmas? I'd argue that in this economy, we are all final girls, really. So please take your pick. I just want to say, I know this episode has been a bit of a whirlwind and it's kind of fun and silly, but that's exactly what I wanted. There's been some horrible things going on in the world, and I just knew I wanted to come back with something a little bit lighthearted. It feels really good to be back with a bit of Christmas fun after the girl horror hiatus. So thank you so much for your time and your patience and for tuning in with me today. Your support really means the world, and I hope this episode has brought a bit of spooky cheer to your Christmas season. Don't forget, this is just the beginning, and I have so much more planned. You're going to have a whole new episode at your fingertips before the year is out. And so I'm going to see you next time when we're going to be discussing the Christmas classic that is Gremlins and how it highlights the horrors of Christmas. Thank you so much for listening to this Friday the 13th special episode of the Girl Horror Podcast. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your preferred streaming platform. You can also find us on Instagram at Girl Horror, GURLHORROR, for more updates including behind the scenes content and plenty of horror fun. If you want to help support the show, please consider leaving a review wherever you listen. It really helps other fans find us, or just share this episode with a friend who loves girl horror too. Until next time, when we'll be discussing Gremlins, stay girly and stay horrifying.